I know offense was a struggle in the second half Saturday, but what did your team do good in the second half?
Well, I just thought we were resilient. We continued to get ourselves to the foul line, and we made free throws, which were vital. But we tell them all the time, we can't control the offensive end of the floor. Sometimes the ball goes in, sometimes it doesn't. But you can always control your effort and intensity on the defensive end of the floor. And we limited their opportunities. We turned them over some, and we just kind of sustained their runs. And I thought that was something that we wouldn't have done earlier in the season. So we showed a lot of growth in the second half.
They also seem your team has really started to handle any adversity thrown their way much better. If things don't go their way, they hang together, and to me that really showed up Saturday.
Yes, we're getting a lot of good leadership from our seniors. Our younger kids are starting to understand what it takes. Teams change, players change, but the remedy for success never changes. And so we're starting to buy into that, and they understand the importance of these last games and playing with a sense of urgency. But, the attitude and the effort are two things you can control, and our players have really been controlling that over the last several weeks.
Tell us about the boost you're getting off the bench scoring-wise now, too.
Well, when we moved Bethea to the bench, every single night we just weren't getting anything. And sometimes you need that. And it's not about who starts the game. It's always about who finishes and who can come in and make us better. And she's just been extremely great off the bench. She comes in, she gives us instant offense. She opens things up for other players on the floor. And I think that's been one of the key moves that we've made. And she's been very selfless in taking that role because most players want to start. But she understands how important it is for us, and she's been great in taking that.
Since she's gotten back from that flu that she had, Abria's been playing fairly well. Just talk about having that energy of her being able to use her athleticism to get to the rim and kind of take some pressure off KJ when it comes to those types of situations.
Yeah, she's playing her best basketball right now, and it was pretty much with Abria, and I'm not telling you anything that she wouldn't tell you. It was time to put up or somebody else was going to take her spot, and she understood that, and she rose to the challenge. And sometimes as coaches, you have to challenge players and say, we need you to be here, and if you're not going to give us that, then we're going to have to find someone else that can. And when she came back from being sick, she really got focused in on what we needed her to do. Her attitude's been great, her effort's been great, and she's been one of the reasons that we've been able to play the way we've played in the last couple of weeks.
You've talked the last couple of weeks about how good this team plays on the road, and talking to KJ, I think after Thursday night's game, she said the same thing, that this team just somehow plays good on the road. You got 2 road games coming up, and I know it's kind of an overstatement how important this week is for you guys.
Oh, it's a huge week, and I don't know really what that is. Normally players look forward to playing at home and being at home, but we haven't played well here this year for some reason. But I don't know if it's the camaraderie of being on the road, but for some reason things just seem closer for us on the road and more focused in the locker room, kind of making these trips business trips. And so just, again, that's leadership, and that shows the growth of this team. But this week is vital for us. I mean, we've got to start stringing together wins. We're going to play SEMO on Thursday. They're 1 game ahead of us. If we were going to get to the tournament, we've got to take care of business these last 8 games, because the last thing we want is to have to rely on other people to get to the tournament. We've talked about that all year. So I think we'll be ready to play on the road.
Because of that, does that give you maybe a little bit more ease as a head coach going on the road, because your team is a little bit more comfortable playing on the road compared to other teams where playing on the road is extremely tough?
Yes, it is, and it's something that's a little foreign, because normally, you want the home court, you want the atmosphere and those type of things, but it hasn't bothered me at all to play on the road this year. Like I said, for some reason we seem more focused and ready to play. We have put more quarters together on the road than we have at home. So going on the road this week is okay with me, but it doesn't matter the venue that you're playing in. You have to be ready to play, and we understand that we're going to have to put 40 minutes of basketball together every single night we take the floor.
I know we've played SEMO once. What adjustments do you need to make from that first time to Thursday to, I guess, come out on the floor and give them a good game?
When we played SEMO before, we won 3 of the 4 quarters. We gave up 31 points in the third quarter versus SEMO and lost the game. So we definitely don't want to do that again. But I just think being consistent and persistent in our effort, the playing with the passion and the purpose from the beginning to end, understanding that each possession matters. I gave our players a poem this week, and it said, it's only one possession. And it talks about how those one possessions come back every single time, whether it be a missed free throw, a missed block out, a turnover, and it could be in the first minute of the game or the last minute of the game, but they're all the same. And so we've really focused in on the fact that each possession has to be given 110%, because our margin of error is so small that we can't afford not to play one possession. And so I think that's probably going to be the mentality going into Thursday night, is play each possession like it's your last. Because for our seniors, we've told them, you better play each game as if it's your last game, because in 8 games, if we don't take care of business, we will be done.
Talk a little bit about the press that you've been able to use the past couple of games. How did that turn a 14-point deficit into a 2-point lead late in the game against Moorhead? And then also it got the game really started and got us out to a big enough lead that we could have a little bit of a cushion when Eastern started to make their run.
Well, as a coach, you have to find the strengths of your basketball team, and one of the strengths of our team is athleticism. And when they want to go in our zone press, they can create a lot of havoc because we're long, we're quick, and when we're aggressive, we're difficult to get the ball down the floor against. Problem is we're not deep enough to play that type of basketball for 40 minutes. So we have to pick and choose when we do those things. You know, going back to Moorhead, you think, well, I wish I'd have done that the whole second half. We wouldn't have had it in the tank in the fourth quarter if we'd have done it the whole third quarter, and I know some people don't understand that, and sometimes our players don't even understand that. Coach, we need to play like that more until you get in that moment, and then you realize I don't have anything left. So we felt we kind of turned things. We waited in Moorhead to apply the pressure and got really close, and we decided going into Saturday night with Eastern Kentucky, we're going to start the game in this, and we're going to try to set the tone early. So as a coach, that's one thing I've got to do, is I've got to pick and choose when we're going to do that. But as long as the players continue to give us the effort that they're doing, we've caused a lot of problems, and our half-court trap's been really good as well. And you don't expert as much energy when you do it in the half court, so we kind of went back and forth. But all the credit goes to the kids, how much effort they're putting into that, because it is high risk, high reward, and the minute that you do not trap or the minute you do not rotate, they're going to shoot a layup. So, again, credit to them for working so hard for us.